From your point of view, what do you think led to the downfall of death row?
I say, in my opinion, uh, it's what happens to all, labels on that type of status. You see, we had the Murder Inc. shit, we had the Death Row shit, I just think that the fall of it was, at some point when you get into the category of, we got two, three, $400 million company, some of the aspects of shit gotta change. You get me? I mean, this was started by niggas out of the hood. You get me? Um, Niggas who live like I live, growing up in the hood, poverty stricken, trying to make it in this world, not knowing. And then you start putting out music, and next thing you know, you create something to where you look up and you're sitting on $300 million. But in a lot of instances, money changes people. And money can't keep you grounded if you get me? Money can't ground you if you're never grounded, or if you don't have that mentality that, you know what I'm saying, um, it's a gang of homies involved. You get me? Homies are getting involved in situations that are still related to the streets. You know, my man Suge, his prowess and what he wanted to represent as far as the streets and the affiliation to the hood. And then all of my artists are affiliated with the hood and that mentality. So when you have the mentality that we just some big time ass balling hood niggas, sometimes the pitfalls of not being corporate America is gonna fall to you. Um, You can't be no $300 million company still, banging like we on the block still. There's aspects and situations gotta change. And with the negativity, with the label, and with Suge, with the lifestyle in the hood and his affiliates, and then the intimidation factor that brought, it'll make motherfuckers stop wanting to fuck with you. You get me? I don't want to invest, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to fuck with them. And then when you still tying that into living the street shit, you get me? Again, you're a $300 million executive, but you getting into fights with niggas, and you getting into, scuffles and public, feuds and shit. And, your artists are getting into it, and there's fights here, and then there's controversy there, and there's problems here, to where now these same executives that let you in the door don't want to be affiliated with you because now they're intimidated. I don't give a fuck about the nigga on the block who talking shit. But when you start intimidating the motherfuckers sitting upstairs, and now it starts coming back on them and their motherfucking bottom line and their motherfucking dollar and their image and all of that shit, they're gonna pull away from you. And I think that's just what happened, with the pop killing, and then the Suge going to jail, and then all the negativity that was behind Death Row because of who was representing the label. You get me? It just fucked it off. You get me? And then once all the talent start leaving, you just left with a name. You get me? What can you do without talent? You can't really do shit. You get me? Once the Dre's left, and then the Snoops left, and then everybody trickled down, it's like, what do you have now? Because it's hard you can't replace that. You can't replace all that authenticity. You can't. You can't replace Tupac or Snoop Dogg or the Dog Pound or the Lady of Rage. You get me? You can't replace that. And so now, the investors start pulling out. Now your record sales ain't doing what they're doing because money changes people, man. I mean, who's happy? You get me? Like, if you could honestly ask yourself, you get me, who's happy? This dude was mad. This dude was mad. They were mad. They were mad. So if everybody pissed off and want to leave, then what do you have? And I think that's what happened. It just failed because of it's just what happens when you're dealing with motherfucking neighborhood life shit. You get me? Nobody trusts nobody. Somebody want more than the other. This is my shit. I'm the man. I started this. Fuck you. Fuck you. Okay, well, fuck you too. And now we got beef with inside the organization. Nobody trusts nobody. And then at the end of the day, the nigga who running this shit, they done sent him to prison for 9 years. So it's kind of hard to sustain, longevity when you got so many motherfucking pitfalls to try to hurdle over. And Death Row was good for rap. It was good for hip hop. It was good for the West Coast. Um, uh, um, it was great for us. But like I said, with all fucking good things come to an end type of mentality. And that's what happened to a lot of motherfuckers on the West Coast. You get me? There was a lot of motherfuckers who had their hands in a lot of talent. And because of the greed and the mishandling, niggas jump ship. You could have been had this, or you could have had this nigga, or you could have, but greed and not knowing how to fuck with a motherfucker is how a lot of shit got fucked up on the West Coast.